Good morning. This is Diane Giovanni with Pacific Ridge Realty.
And this is John Cohen, president of Qualified Financial, a local mortgage broker.
And this is the Weekly Five. Good morning, John. How are you this morning? What's new?
Great, Diane. What's new? I could tell you about my morning. It was very interesting. I
Yeah.
had what you call a board meeting with my friends, and which means meeting at Salt Creek in the parking lot, changing in our wetsuits and going down and surfing. That's our so-called board meeting.
Oh, that's funny.
And today was even more interesting because when we're all surfing point, there was a pack of probably 15 dolphins. It's pretty regular that they're out there swimming around surfing with us, but
Wow.
there's about 15. They were extra large. One literally jumped up behind my friend, arched right over the top of his head. We all watched it because he was out further than us, and it literally looked like it was jumping directly over the top. It was just a couple inches behind him. But it's
Wow.
just one of the gifts of being out there in nature with God. It was just
Wow.
amazing. What about you?
Things are good. We're doing summer here. Katie, she's 16. She just got her license and she's got a car now. So she's out and about doing her thing. She just went to a pool party. Um, it's fun. It's good. And we're, approaching the empty nester years. So I'm glad I have real estate and I'll be able to go back to
Real
doing that
focusing on it. Yeah.
doing my doing my 80 hours a week.
Well, it's funny. You said she went to her friend's house. In other words, which is a different conversation than what we usually have. You're like, I need to take Katie to her friend's
Yeah,
house. So that
yeah,
just changed a few weeks ago, right?
yeah,
So
just maybe, yeah. And I'm actually really happy. I'm not worrying too bad about her driving, so that's nice. I'm kind of just enjoying it.
no, it's great. I got both kids have been out of the house since they were 17. My
Yeah,
daughter's 23, my son's 28. So I've been empty nested for years.
yeah,
So this has been that's why I've been focusing on the mortgage industry for all these years, actually 20 some odd years, but really
yeah,
focusing since they've been gone. So I wanted to today, if you don't mind, I wanted to ask you some questions in regards to the strategies when you're meeting with someone potentially looking to sell their home. Because
sure.
I've seen some interesting things going on where I'm very familiar with what's going on in the community. I understand what the prices, the sale, what the values of homes are, realistic values of the homes are,
Right.
what people are listing them at. I see properties that are sitting for long periods of time. And I understand that people want, they hold their house and they think the value of their home is the highest ever. I get it. We all do. That's all of us. If I'm listing the house, I want the highest and best. And you, as an agent representing them, and any agent wants the same thing for them. However, I know that if it's not strategized properly, then you're putting, as a seller, you're putting yourself at risk for a property going stale. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, and I want you to share a story that you were telling me about
Yeah,
recently. There was two properties in a local community here, same exact floor model. One
yeah.
was on the market for must have been, I don't know, 5, 6 weeks. I don't even know
Wow.
the number. And the other one, I was sitting in my house and I'd started watching people walk by. I have a front porch and I can see out my windows. There's people walking by, probably about 100 people walk by my front door. I'm like, what is going on? I thought it was a party for a graduation.
Mhm.
And it turns out when I went out there, I wanted to go see the new open house. It turns out everybody was coming to the new open house. It's the
Yeah.
one that just went on the market. And I went to go into the house, but there was a sign-in sheet. You couldn't even get in the house because there was that many
Wow.
people lined
Oh,
up.
wow.
What I did notice when I went back to Zillow, because that's what I'm always looking at, Zillow and Redfin,
Yeah.
that price was, I mean, that home was priced out at wait hundreds of thousands of dollars lower than the other property. But the amount of
Mhm.
traffic that it received was unbelievable. The difference was night and day. So tell me a little bit about your strategy and the scenario that you were discussing with me actually for the last few days, and,
Right.
and how important it is when you're listing a home.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. And it's interesting. I did have a meeting recently with someone considering selling their home, and a very accurate assessment of that home um, warranted probably a list price of about 1.75 million.
Yeah.
The seller had a different perception of what the home was worth to them, of about 2.1 million, a pretty drastic difference. I think what people don't understand that is probably most important is the amount of momentum when a home first comes on the market. That the first 2 or 3 weeks are just essential. If a property sits on the market too long, it gets stale. People wonder what's wrong with it. It's really important to price it right from the beginning. And, it's not only what somebody is willing to pay for the home. The other part of that is what it will appraise for, what the bank is willing to loan money um, based on. So those two things have to meet in the middle. So for instance, let's say somebody wants to pay $2.1 million for this home. Let's say they write an offer and they pay 2.1 million, and the appraiser goes out and says it's worth 1.7. Well, there's a $400,000 difference in the values there. And
Which
unless
the
they'd have to come
buyer
up,
has to come up with the difference.
exactly.
Got it.
Um, so that it's not as simple as it seems to just ask what you want, and somebody will just pay this crazy amount. And it's interesting what you said about somebody or the house down the street pricing their home low, because very often those homes that start out priced lower end up with higher final sales prices, because they get the rush, they get the multiple bidding. People get emotionally drawn into, I want the house, I want the house, I want the house. And those homes will sell more for, or they'll sell higher than the home where they started out with a super high price.
And then
Um,
I saw three or a couple price reductions on that. And there was,
see?
like you just said, it was a frenzy. The house
Yeah,
that came on the market three weeks later, the frenzy was unbelievable.
yeah,
So that strategy was unbelievable. They priced it low,
yeah,
created a bidding war, and
yeah.
everybody was trying to outbid each other. And then they ended up getting what really they ended up selling it for what the real
And
value of
that's
the
what
property
happens.
was.
And that's what happens. It does end up selling for what it should. In fact, it's kind of funny because I remember on eBay years and years ago, the first time I started seeing auctions that were starting at a penny. Like somebody was auctioning something that was actually worth something, and they would start the bidding at a penny. And I thought, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
a
exactly.
penny? They knew what they were doing. People are, oh, I want it, I'm going to get it. And then you see it going up and up and up and up. And you had 42 people trying to get the same thing. And it was whatever the market would bear. And they were getting great prices for whatever they were selling. So yeah, it's kind of that same theory, but I think that it's just super important for sellers to realize that those first 2 or 3 weeks are very
Crucial.
important. Yeah, to draw interest, get people in to see it. That's the other, if it's on the MLS and it's priced way too high, people are going to just say, oh, that's too expensive, I'm not going to go see it. You got
They
to get
keep
them in
seeing
there.
it. Yeah, they keep
Yeah,
every day you keep going on, you keep seeing it week in, week out. And then the buyer's agents, the people coming in and showing the properties, end up being burned out on that particular property and off showing other homes
yeah.
at this point. And now you're just
The
losing
new
out.
ones, they're
You're
showing the new ones that just came on the market.
correct. You've already lost momentum, and now you're starting to reduce the price with
Right.
the realtor and you're sitting down or with the seller, and now they start reducing the price to try to draw in more traffic. They've already lost hundreds of people. So
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think my recommendation, and I'm not a realtor, I'm on the mortgage side, but I'm very in tune,
Yeah.
is to trust your professional. If you're hiring an agent, make sure it's somebody that you trust, knows what they're
Right.
doing, and
Right.
trust their process. Because I could tell you, the other property that was listed that sat there was an incredible agent, and I know that his seller there's no question that his seller was dead set on them listing the property where it was at. And it doesn't make anybody look good when you have something overpriced,
Absolutely.
and it doesn't make the realtor look good. It doesn't make, you start reducing these prices, and eventually you're right back down to where the other guy lists the property, creates that bidding war, and ends up selling as quick as the other one or faster. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that if I were to give any advice to anybody considering selling a home, is to follow the direction and come up with a great strategy. And I know,
Right.
Diane, that you're incredible at creating strategies, and that's why I highly recommend you.
Thank
So,
you.
that being said, I guess if anybody is looking to get information on a refinance or purchase, more than welcome to reach out to me. I'm happy to give you any advice I can. If you're looking, thinking about buying or selling, definitely reach out to Diane. She'd be happy to give you advice as well. So that being said, I would say that's it for our weekly 5, and you guys have a wonderful rest of the week, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon.
We'll see you soon.
Okay, take care.